I was very pleased all the way around. Like they played to their potential for the entire 90 minutes. You know, speed of play stayed good, decision making stayed good. So they kept the speed and execution on the defensive side of it. You know, to keep a clean sheet is great. Continue to move in the right direction.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with everything that she said. I think it's a great feeling when you are able to apply what you're working on in practices. Like, we've really been working on speed of play, and our staff has done such an amazing job trying to prepare us for moments like these and prepare us for playing competition when we have to sustain the level throughout the entire game. So it's a great feeling.
After missing all of last year, you get the game winner the other night, you get a goal tonight. After the year off, how do those goals feel to you?
They feel just as good as they did when I was playing the first time, let me tell you. Maybe even a little bit better. No, it's a great feeling, and I think whenever you go through a big injury, like an ACL or whatever it is that takes you out for a little while, it really helps you appreciate the game, and it helps you appreciate what you were missing, and you just come back with a hunger, and you want to do exactly what you were doing before, but even better.
You look like you're obviously moving really well out there. I know you've got a little hardware with you, but how are you feeling physically?
Yeah, physically I feel good. I feel strong. Like I said, I honestly owe it all to the staff. Like, they've done everything that they could, all the way from head coach to assistant coach to trainers. Like, they do it all for us, and I wouldn't have been able to be where I am today without them. So the team's also been super supportive. So between all of that support, it's really easy to come back from something like this, and you just have to put in the hard work. And again, like I do, I feel very stable. I feel strong, and I feel ready to just keep kicking some butt throughout the rest of the season.
What do you tell your team at halftime when you're up 4?
It's about us, you know, continuing to play to our potential. So I think that it takes a lot of discipline to stay that focused and to continue to try to push the speed. We talked to them, you know, about what they had done really well and continuing it for the next 45 minutes and showed them a couple of looks that we wanted to experiment with in the second half.
Did you and your teammates talk about anything to avoid complacency in the second half?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, when we get in that locker room, you know, it's never going to be good enough. We always want to be better than what we were doing before. And like you said, 4 goals, it just means that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. And it needs to continue because the soccer game isn't 45 minutes, right? It's 90. So we need to make sure that we're doing it throughout the whole time and just keep pushing each other, trying new things that we've been wanting to work on in practice and whatnot, and just preparing ourselves for the rest of the season.
You've had 2 games that are shutouts and dominant on the stat sheet. How would you evaluate what you've seen so far, or the progress your team has made, either since the spring to now, or even since camp to now?
The progress has been great. It's what we've talked about with them is that there's a lot of players that have played a lot of minutes, you know, and even with the transfers and Sammy then coming back in, there is a good amount of experience with plenty of freshmen sprinkled in there, but they started off at, you know, you look to the captains and the work they did in July without us because they started off at a better place than normal, like from an organization and the things they were putting together. So we were able to really progress it pretty faster in preseason. The spring we had laid the groundwork on a lot of kind of smaller pieces within the game, so we felt like we could start with a little bigger picture. But to bring this many new people in, I'm really happy with their progress at this point. And again, it's a testament to their mindset, their mentality, their focus. Like, they do an incredible job. I say it all the time. They care a ton. They want to get better every day. Their passion is unmatched. They are great to work with. So it's been a lot of fun.
I would guess that the next few days are going to be much different in preparation, just mindset-wise, coming into a match where you know that you're not going to have possession the whole time, you know, like you've had in the first couple games. So, you know, how challenging can that be for a team to go from, you know, really rightfully controlling 2 straight games to going into a different style game coming up on Thursday?
It's very important, and that was one of the keys, even at halftime, is like, we're preparing for this week. Like, can we keep the speed of play similar to what we're gonna face, in upcoming weeks? And, they're excited, I mean, again, they're excited to play. It's an opponent that we've played a few times. But I think that they'll be ready, I mean, again, they like going into games where there's a challenge ahead of them. But as far as mindset, we talk a lot about our mindset is the same regardless of the opponent, So from a performance mindset standpoint, it's staying with what we do, staying in the present, in the moment. But the speed will be a lot faster, and they will have to continue to think fast and play fast. But we're excited to get ready for the week and enjoy this one for 24 hours and then, start prep for the week.
Thank you. And Sammy, you were kind of, and Coach alluded to it as well, you'll have, you're starting in the midfield spot, but you'll have runs inside the box and stuff like that. But it's not just you. There are a lot of different players just weaving in and out. Are roles less defined or structured than they've been in past years, do you think, to where creativity is in a better spot this year?
Yeah, I definitely do. I think that the coaches have always kind of harped on the fact that the game is fluid and that, there should be a lot of interchange. Now, whether we've executed that great in past years is more, I think, of the conversation, because, like I said, like, the ideas have always been there, right? That's always been the goal, is to get this interchange, find different ways to be creative, to get into the box, to find different shots. And I think that a lot of our attackers have really given themselves the freedom to kind of, make those movements. And it takes a lot of trust in your teammates around you to move into the areas that you moved out of, right? To do those pockets. So the team chemistry is just really there, and I think it's allowed for the players to make those movements, make those runs. The game becomes a lot more fluid. It becomes easier. There's more options. So, yeah, this is something that we have been working on, and I think it's something that we're definitely coming to execute.
And as far as Eddie is going, Coach, she was very aggressive in game one, just wasn't rewarded with goals or anything like that. But obviously the execution was there. Was it nice to see her take that next step in this game?
Absolutely. I mean, she's been doing a good job, and she was here in the spring, and she scored goals in the spring, so we know that she's capable. So it was kind of but it's still her first college games. So I mean, from a data standpoint, like, she was good last week. It doesn't always equal a goal, but she's still being very productive with the service she's putting in, with the 1v1 battles and duels that she's winning. So she was dangerous last week, but I think she played a little more free tonight. So it was great to see. Yes, you're happy for these guys to get goals. Goal scorers like to get goals.
And the pass from Emma on your goal, I mean, just an absolute dot. But this is what you guys have been working on, is making sure that when somebody is in that final 18, that there's somebody in the box waiting on making that play. So talk about how that play developed.
Yeah, it actually started from an outside back making a good tackle, picking her head up, finding a good pass, and then, just got the ball in the center of the field. And this is when you really have to make the decision of, like, okay, what's the most dangerous ball I can play? What's the best pass I can play? Pass it off to another teammate, who then played quickly out wide. And, the thought isn't, okay, I made my pass, I'm done. It's like, if I look forward and there's only one person on my team in front of me, and I have my winger making a great run out wide with the ball, then it's like, okay, this is an opportunity. This is something that we need to get on the end of. And something that our coaches tell us is, like, you're not always making the run to score the goal. Sometimes you're making the decoy run. Sometimes you're making a run to help open up other players. And sometimes the ball doesn't really always make it to the back post, right? But Emma hit an amazing cross. It was the pace on it was great. So it's just the focus of, like, okay, I played my pass. What's the next move? And you're trying to think ahead. And the coaches have been telling us, like, we have these talented wingers. We need to be getting in the box. We need to be getting on the end of this stuff, because these are opportunities that we can't pass up.
See what I'm talking about on this soccer IQ? She remembers that a lot better than I do.
After the opener the other night, we talked about the game that Lydia had, Kelly Gordon scored. Tonight it's Liz Eddy with 2 goals and assists, and Sadie Paul scored, I think. And are you, either of you, surprised at all by the freshman class, or what have been your impressions of your new freshman teammates?
Yeah, I mean, it's always interesting with freshmen, right? Because they're just finding their way. And I think that, like, I was there too. And I think it's been really beautiful to see them kind of develop. I will say from day one, seeing these guys, they're talented. Like, they are a extremely talented class. They have grit, they're smart, they're extremely athletic. But I do think there is a little bit of like a freshman bump of playing, the speed of the game kind of changes. The decision making has to change a little bit more, right? Because your opponents are, just as talented as you are. So I think it's been, I wouldn't say I'm surprised. It's always been there, and it's going to continue to grow. So it's been fun to watch, but I wouldn't say surprising.
When you have a game like Texas coming up, who obviously you played last year without Sammy, do you look back at the video of last year, or is it all about evaluating what you've got through 2 games and the camp in spring this year?
We didn't look at the video last year because we went down a man 2 minutes into the game and gave up another penalty 18 minutes, and we decided, you know what, there's not much we can learn from this because it doesn't, we couldn't execute what we had planned on executing. So it's a fresh start every year, right? Every team changes dramatically. So we're focused on preparing our team and are excited for the week.